Hello and welcome once again to Baked Beans Garage, where it's not an interference engine, it's an interfered engine. I have drug home this rotten banana, my early Westy Rabbit pick-em-up truck in sunbright yellow, the best color for patina. Now, about a month ago I started filming a Will It Run episode on this car. You'll see soon why I gave up almost immediately on that. I'm gonna pluck that lump out today and have a closer look. Anyway, let's take a lap of the rig before we get into her. And while it doesn't have much in the way of go or stop, I will say it does roll quite nicely. Small shop, gotta make do. Now, glossing over the obvious, quite lovely patina she has, I'm gonna start with what I found in the rig, not so much the rig itself. The papers I found in the glove box, just about every service record from about 1980 to about 1995. There's definitely stuff that's not in there. We'll get to that. The original pouch for the credentials from the dealership, the original window sticker, the original service handbook, owner's manual, and the sales receipt. Of course, personal details have been covered up. Now, from those, you can probably imagine what document was missing, but we're not going to talk about that. We can see she had quite a few options. Just about the only one that was missing is the 5-speed, which I do believe was available in 80. But hey, we got the bumper package, we got AM and FM. Slow down there, Mr. Rockefeller. The vent windows, air conditioner, 65 full amps out of that alternator. Can you believe it? Anyways, Jegs has these floor mats. One of the very first things I did was go straight through the floor. So there's my seat mount. We'll peel up that carpet maybe today. Anyways, let's get to this. If you know, you know. Whew, that just tickles the pickle. So, what we would have had in here from the factory is a 1.5D with a 4-speed. What we have here is a 1.6D with and 5-speed. Now, from here, they look about identical. The easiest way to tell a 1.5 versus a 1.6 is the casting on the rear of the block on the transmission side, which you have right there. 5-speed versus a 4-speed, the easiest way to tell. The 4-speeds have 4 vertical bolts over here, whereas the 5-speeds have 2, what goes sidewards, and this mount is all different. But apart from that, there really isn't much of note in here. That engine swap obviously would have been the undocumented maintenance I mentioned earlier. Here we have some goofy aftermarket cruise control garbage that probably never worked properly. You know, we can see down there the shifter linkages are all taken apart, so no gears for me. And the reason that I gave up on the, even though I had installed already the kosher dill fuel cell, the timing belt is missing most of its teeth. And, you know, being a small diesel, these are extremely interference engines. And it's overhead cam, so the valves go straight up and down on top of the pistons. So there's not much to bend. It just breaks stuff. But we'll get into that. Furthermore, I know this would have had a copper or brass all-metal radiator of some sort. That's not factory. Also, we know this was a air conditioning truck from the factory because the alternizer is way up here. Non-AC would have been way down there where the AC compressor was. It is now absent, as is the condenser. Some plumbing still here. I'm to assume we still have an evaporator. That'll probably never work again. Also missing is a fuel filter, although the oil filter looks quite fresh. But also I didn't see on the window sticker was the heavy-duty electrics option. We got 3 battery terminals. I don't know what planet you're from. You're getting 3 terminal batteries, but ooh, I'm jealous. This is what I spliced in to try to get that to run. It didn't work, but I did hear a clickety-clack from the solenoid, and this pump did draw fuel. So it might be a good core pump, although it's certainly leaking from the front end. Let's go inside and see what's there. But before we're even inside, we can already see one of the dash gophers has escaped. That was a factory option, of course, the critters in the dash. One seemed to have had long enough claws to not be in there anymore. Also, I'm not sure what exactly his job was with this vehicle, but I think he did indeed do that. Anyways, we got 1 door card. Also the lonely driver's seating option. Not sure what happened over there. As we can see, she's a little loosey on account of being through the floor there. And we can also down here see the remnants of that aftermarket cruise control. Should have had a flashlight, huh? Original early Westy steering wheel. I'm a fan of that. However, unfortunately, being an 80, we do have the early style vent windows where it's glued onto the hinges, and this is just being held in by the weather stripping. I shouldn't be touching that. The latch is missing as well. That one's just gone. Not sure where it is, but hey, we got 2 door windows. Moving on to the exterior. Like I said, lovely patina. We have a average looking taillight for a Caddy over here. Not a Caddy, it's a Rabbit pickup. Patina, nice and good. Not sure what happened down here on the door. We'll get to that. Over here we have a bit of a liver spot, for lack of a better term, and a missing marker light, but we'll get to that. And then on this side, very straight, actually. A little ding here, but very straight, and a way above average taillight on this side. Now, there is tragedy. Prepare your eyeballs. Now, if you know who did this, please do put me in touch with their mother, because they are entitled to a refund for that 9 months. This is unacceptable. I have a plan to fix this. It won't be as bad. So back in 1979 at the Westmoreland Assembly Plant in the great state of Pennsylvania, all of these powertrains came in from the bottom, and they put the bolts in that way. The same was done on a Mark II. However, on a Mark II, the entire core support bolted into the car. So, to get the powertrain out of a Mark II, you just unbolt the core support and drag that forward a little bit. On a Mark I, the core support is part of the unibody, so you either take it out from the bottom like you should, or you pluck it out from the top and bring it all the way up here to get the oil pan to clear that header panel. That's what I'm going to do. I know I can because I've done it before, and I don't have the fixtures to safely get this car up high enough to get it out from the bottom. So we'll start by getting the hood off, taking some unnecessary bits out of the way, and then, putting this unbroken early Westy grill in a safe space. The grill and the hood, put them in a spare room. They're not going back on for at least a year. Same with the bumper. It's still pretty shiny. And hey, for once in my life, I've actually had the foresight to go ahead and crack the head bolts before it's out of the car. Same with the axle nuts. Very smart. I did notice this in my travels. All 5 bearing caps on the cam are just loose. And look at the cam, just flopping around like that. And this valve cover doesn't look like it's been off at any point in the past couple decades, so I'm not sure what's happened here. Furthermore, the number 8 lifter is just gone. That must have made a hell of a noise, that's for sure. Anyway, now that she's up in the air, we can have a little better look at this spicy sadness down here. Pretty bad. Although, strangely, the rest of the rig's pretty solid, minus just the floor, so I'm guessing that glass has been missing for quite some time and has led to this. So now there's not much to do under here for plucking the lump there out. Gotta get the axles off. Quick note, even as early as 80, these bolts are going to be triple squares, the serrated bits. If you're not ready for that, you're just going to strip them out, so word of caution. We'll pluck that mount off and get the starter out because that mount is tied right into it. Probably pull the bumper off too, just to get that out of the way, keep it shiny.
parts of its torso at each corner of.
So not all too crusty, all things considered. There's even a dry spot here on the back. That must have cost extra. There we can see 1.6. Anyways, time for the usual regiment. Obviously head bolts are cracked. We'll pull the injectors out while it's still on the stand. What for leverage? And I won't lie to you, I will admit some disappointment that not a lot's blown up. I don't see any piston valve contact, so no interference has happened. I was kind of hoping this video would be a little more exciting. I did notice, however, some piston is missing right at the outlet of the swirl chamber here. I also can see 76.48 being original, of course, with the cylinder walls being as hammered as they are. I would expect nothing else. Even the ridge isn't too bad. Not too much scoring, just worn out. Over on the head, we have the expected cracking. So more valves should be open, I think. Not sure what's going on. I'm going to get this cam out and see what's going on. And that's a fairly shiny bump stick. I'm thinking it must be a low mile unit because there's not too much evil going on there. Similar story with the lifters, although there's still no sign of our wayward friend over there. Hardly any wear pattern on there. And yeah, if you're unfamiliar, and that's a fairly shiny bump stick. I'm thinking it must be a low mile unit because there's not too much evil going on there. Similar story with the lifters, although there's still no sign of our wayward friend over there. Hardly any wear pattern on there. And yeah, if you're unfamiliar, all of these lobes, all of these lobes are designed to be off-center from the lifter. That way this disc spins around with every rip'em to keep the wear even. I could definitely reuse this cam. The concern is putting a worn-in cam lobe on a new lifter. Who knows what's going to happen? As far as the bearing journals go, from it being loosey-goosey, I don't know. I'll have to check them for roundness, but to the naked eyeball, they don't seem so bad. Now, I do have another theory on what happened. So it was cranking. It kind of sounded like it had maybe a bit of compression. I'm thinking given the loose cam, it just wasn't opening the valves, or the timing was off just enough for it to not run. I never even checked the timing to see how far off it was. All of these lobes are designed to be off-center from the lifter. That way this disc spins around with every rip'em to keep the wear even. I could definitely reuse this cam. The concern is putting a worn-in cam lobe on a new lifter. Who knows what's going to happen? As far as the bearing journals go, from it being loosey-goosey, I don't know. I'll have to check them for roundness, but to the naked eyeball, they don't seem so bad. Now, I do have another theory on what happened. So it was cranking. It kind of sounded like it had maybe a bit of compression. I'm thinking given the loose cam, it just wasn't opening the valves, or the timing was off just enough for it to not run. Either way, I still think a fairly usable unit here. Down on the bottom, of course, we got the cracks, but certainly under 1/2 millimeter. Another one of those rare instances I'll actually recommend using the correct tool. Fun fact, earlier engines here, for the main pulley bolt, they have a 6.17. This is a regular old bolt. Later engines had a 12.19, which is a torque to yield bolt that you can't reuse. Obviously still reuse that. Again, this main sprocket they like to break without an actual puller. Now my last one, I don't remember the pulley itself staying on there with the crank sprocket, but it doesn't seem to want to come off, so I'm just going to see what this does. Windows reboot noise. So that still worked. I can't believe I almost missed the best part, peeling the old scab off. Yep, there's cylinder head. Coolant galleries are filled with all kinds of garbage, especially right with the interface with the water pump. Here's some hardware that's clearly been baked in for at least 20 years. I wonder if I look through those records if I can see exactly when that nut and that clip was billed to the customer. This was my fault. That wasn't. Well, I won't deny a little bit of disappointment. It's just fine. There's no real carnage to look at. Bearings are fine. Pistons, good enough. There's a little material missing at the very edge of the Mickey Mouse there. Not sure what that's about. All the bearings, whatever. One observation is a lot of the oil looks fresh, like it hadn't even been run, and only the stuff real deep inside is jet black, as would be expected from such a diesel. Anyways, I think I'm gonna sloppily put this back together and just tuck it in the shed as a spare 1.6 am I to ever need one. Disappointing. Anyways, to entertain myself a little more, I think I'm gonna pull the carpet out and just see how much I hate myself about the floor. Now, with the old flame test, I have confirmed that this stringy stuff here is indeed a synthetic fiber, so it should melt instead of burning. I have an idea to clean up all this mess in here. Now, I'm not going to comment on the smell, but that worked really well. All right, now we can see everything. It's time for some percussive inspection. Very crusty. So I think it's pretty obvious that this is indeed a product of the missing glass and many years of soggy carpets. We can see how all of the rust has just crept in under this sound deadening. And about the same story on this side. Over there we have the brake lines holding the floor together. Over here it's the fuel lines. Yeah, that's solid enough to protect it from the hatchet. Anyway, yeah. She'll be mint. Now the true self-hatred will be determined by how much floor has been transferred to the lower floor. It's quite a lot. Ooh, why do I smell diesel? It doesn't matter. I am concerned, however, that these seat rails are no longer gettable, and these are pretty hashed. I think I might cut them out of one of my Mark II parts cars. Anyways, I think we'll be done today. I'm going to clean this up a little bit because I think it'll be satisfying to watch. And that's looking quite a bit better now. I found the knobs, threw that old Kenwood in there just so she looks complete. That early Westy wheel come back to life real nice. I'm a fan of that. And one thing I noticed in cleaning the windshield, it's very nice. No delamination or fogging around the edges. I can see it's not the original unit, but it's been in there at least since '97, so that's pretty impressive. Very nice. Anyways, about done for today. Done threw the bolts back in this real loosely just so I don't lose the pistons. Yeah, we'll do the outro now, I guess. So that'll be all for today. Looks like we've ended up with quite the good rebuildable core engine. However, it does have a few problems. The main issue being that I already have a 1.6D powered Rabbit pick-em-up truck. So this won't be going back in the old rotten banana here. This is going to be a gasser, one way or another. We'll talk about what's going in it next time. Not next time. Next time we'll be working on the Volvos again. Anyways, if you've enjoyed this video or found it informative, entertaining, I do ask that you support the channel. Drop a like, subscribe, comment, tell me what your favorite kind of fish is. I'll tell you mine. So this has been Baked Beans Garage. I am Chinchilla. I will see you next time.